You already know, man. It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Yes, you are. Welcome to the Beat 105.5 Real Deal Sports Show with the Red Man and crew, coming to you each and every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. Welcome, everybody. I see my man on the Beltway, Morris Thompson on the Beltway, up and at him already. Morris, welcome to the show. Anybody else, you can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, but YouTube, Facebook, especially YouTube. Like and subscribe to the show. Thank you so much to new subscribers to the show as well. Thank you so much for coming on board. We appreciate your continued support. Hit the like button, please. Hit that like button. Internet Passport with us as well. Well, let's get it in. We ready to talk sports of all sorts. And you know how we do. You know how we do as we open the show. We got to get right to it and get right to the action. Oops. There we go. I told you his ass should have been ran after the 13-second game. Everybody knew it. You should have fired his ass. The guy should have been gone. You get a lead with 13 seconds left. How do you lose the game? Absolutely. How do you lose the game as well? Definitely. How do you lose the game is a key thing, is what we're talking about this morning. We're trying to see how do you lose the game, and what we're talking about this morning is let's get right to what people are talking about, and that's the main thing we're talking right now. First, hot off the press, Stephen A. Smith, fine journalist for the Philadelphia Inquirer back in the day. That's when I first started reading his column. He used to stop at a place called a newsstand. They used to sit on different corners throughout the city of Buffalo, Rochester, New York. I always used to pick up the Philadelphia Inquirer just to read what he had to say about his column in the NBA. So I go way back with following Stephen A. And as you could, it was a sad day to see at last weekend's National Association of Black Journalists give him a thumbs down on his treatment of black women in the media, the way he talked about them in various courses throughout last season. I think it's rightfully so. He deserves that honor. Yes, indeed, because his comments, he's almost turned into like a shock jock type person at the present time, as well as a sports commentator and a shock jock during his spare time. I think it was wrong of him to do that. Thumbs up to the National Association of Black Journalists for not being on the sidelines and telling it like it is. But the only problem I have is that story dominated the media all week long. And the real story should have been the thumbs down to Brendan Carr, the FCC director, who has forced radio stations to de-diverse their newsroom, saying that you can't have it if you got diversity or DIE initiative in your room. He's trying to refuse to re-sign their license of operation, which means they could go off the air. So you have some stations that have taken people of color off the air due to this type of this situation from the FCC director, Brendan Carr. That's who we should be throwing our anger and everything at. Stephen A. Smith, that's a whole nother issue. Yes, indeed. But that's Brendan Carr, you dirty dog, you snake in the grass. What you doing to try to dilute and get people of color off the air instead of on the air, showing the diversity throughout the country that we have. We have great diversity here in America, and you trying to take us back to the 40s and 50s and 60s when you maybe seen one or two black faces on the news, Carol Simpsons and the people of that time period who carried the torch for today. Bilal, welcome. Good morning. See Bilal in there. Bilal, welcome this morning. What do you think? Don't you think that's a shame that Brendan Carr didn't catch more heat from the African-American community or the community in general, instead of Stephen A. Smith's thumbs down?
Absolutely. I think one of the things is that I think we have a tendency to do in our community is we will take our energy out on, or frustrations out on an individual, and not the system that produces it, or that makes it, that makes it possible, right? So the reality is that Stephen A. I've listened to Cam Newton talk about him, and Cam Newton talks about how much he off camera he's a certain type of person. I've heard Ryan Clark talk about him. Similarly, you know, Stephen A. Shannon Sharp, and even Coach Prime talk about Stephen A. off camera as being a different type of person. On camera, he's essentially then, to me, playing a character that allows him to, you know, support his family very well. He's making a lot of money doing it. And while I don't agree with the opinions and the views that he may express publicly on his platform, I totally agree with your point about the National Association of Black Journalists. Rather than using him as the target, to then target the bigger system like a Disney that allows for this to be even something that, you know, listen, if the only way we can have someone on TV representing us is in the form of the character that Stephen A. Smith is playing in, then you hold the system accountable and say, we won't support the platform if that's what it means, that if that's what representation of us looks like. And then conversely, you're going to fire or let go the Ryan Clarks who bring the counterbalance, who represent Black people in a way that we're more, you know, consistent with.
Exactly. And you know, you just brought up a very valid point, Bilal. Look at the people that they brought over from the NFL Network. They ESPN bought NFL Network, and now they merging a lot of their on-air talent on ESPN currently. And man, I forgot about some of those cats that were on, and because I don't watch it, because that's what now I see. Now I remember why I don't watch NFL Network. The only time I turn it on there is if they showing a game or highlights of a game where they're talking about who's playing, injuries and things of that nature. But I don't watch their shows because they're not that good. And several of those people that they brought on, man, they can't carry Ryan Clark's pencils or laptop to the studio. I mean, they're horrible, man. I was watching. I said, "Oh, I forgot this guy was on." I said, "Damn, they brought him over from ESPN. They brought her up. I mean, come on." Some of those people they brought over from the NFL Network, they could have stayed on NFL Network or stayed. But like you said, they don't want to have somebody giving a strong voice like a Ryan Clark who's going to let the community know what's really going on and giving you some facts and hit you with some hard, hitting you hard with some hard commentary that most of those people, let's face it, the twins from the New England Patriots, good dude. I like his how he's on the air, but he's not gonna go too black on the air. McCourty, the McCourty brothers that they brought over. I mean, he's a good dude. I like him. I met him and his brother. They do a lot in the New Jersey area for the community that they came from. They do a lot for the brothers and sisters over there with their foundation. But man, come on, man. He's not gonna cross the line, and several of those other people that they brought over are not gonna do that either. Bilal, your comments?
Yeah, you make a great point that there are a lot of guys that we're looking at on TV that are now on ESPN who I mean, again, they couldn't carry Ryan Clark's pencil bag, but again, they're not gonna rock the boat. And my issue with that, like, even, I won't say his name, but they got a brother in there and he got to dance, and it's like, man, this is it gives very vaudeville kind of Sambo-ish type of behavior. You know what I mean? And it bothers me because it's like we have more to offer. Like, don't have me up here shucking and jiving. That's not what, I'm an expert in this field. I played professional football. You know what I mean? You dancing for your viewers, like, that's not what I'm up here to do. And I can respect, to me, the gold standard and rest his soul, you know what I mean, was Stuart Scott. Stuart Scott was the gold standard of he bridged the culture and being a journalist at the highest level. And you know what I mean? He had all the swag, all the vernacular, but you never saw him get up there doing no, shuck and jive dance, you know what I mean? Because it appealed to, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm going to do. And I want to see us, that's why I love the Real Deal Sports Show. we're not getting on here and doing all this. We're not. What you're gonna get is you're gonna get the raw and the real, and you're gonna get great sports analysis.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll move on to the next segment. And also, one other person, somebody says, rest in peace, Stuart Scott. Stuart Scott, he was the man. Yeah, thank you so much for bringing Big O. Big O, thank you for that, because he was the man, Stuart Scott. Definitely. That was a good analysis. If you bring somebody on like that's bringing them, bringing it to you. And then you don't bring back somebody like a Damian Woody Damian Woody did let you know when push came to shove, he did. He gave you
absolutely
ex-football player, Super Bowl champion, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, gave you good analysis of on the field, off the field analysis, and yet you let him go as well. Maybe they want the guys who dance now to be the headliners there for sure. Definitely, we definitely see.
Wait a second.
Oh
man,
no, where this guy come? I thought he was on vacation.
No.
I thought he was in Vietnam on vacation, man. Where this guy come? Where did that passport come out of nowhere, man? You were supposed to be on vacation somewhere. What's going on in that passport?
I'm here, and I have to say, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed in you journalists, especially the National Association of Black Journalists, giving a thumbs down to Stephen A. Smith and to a few other organizations and individuals as well. They had that in their award ceremony. But the thing what I thought was very interesting was this, and this is why I have to disagree with you gentlemen. They said specifically and put emphasis on for him disparaging Black women. And the same thing I said, as Stephen A. Smith said, was where? Has he had critiques of people, how they performed in their sport? Has he also criticized folks on their political views there? But has he ever truly disparaged someone, saying, hey, I hate you, hey, I dislike you? Or has he simply said you had a bad game? Or has he simply said, I don't like that political point. How's that going to help when it comes to his interests? That's why I have to disagree, gentlemen. When it comes to straight disparaging, to me, it looked like just a straight political hit job. They said we have to take down some of these folks that disagree with what we think. And I didn't know the National Association of Black Journalists was just a monolith. You say something critical to us that we don't like, oh, you getting a thumbs down. What? And I will say he also has some people, some other journalists that are also on the board there, the National Association of Black Journalists, that he and Stephen A. don't get along. If you look to see who the vice president is, you may have an idea why. So that's why I say there could be a little bit of somebody getting some things set up just to smear another Black man's name, a successful Black man who's been known to support Black journalists and also go and bring ESPN to where? To HBCUs. Now, all of a sudden, when he has I disagree with you politically, 2 thumbs down. I'm seeing, and as we do on Real Deal Sports Show, bring you behind the curtain and seeing what's really going on. You two may have some one perspective, but I think I'm seeing things my own way there as well. Because when I hear from the National Association of Black Journalists, all I'm thinking is, well,
I'm here to tell you right now.
We do not care.
We don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
all I care about is the Rochester Association of Black Journalists and also our journalists over there in Buffalo as well. Shout out to another guest coming on, another great journalist.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to say this segment is brought to you by Challenge Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African-American newspaper, Buffalo Child News, BuffChallNews.com. Email articles to editor@thechallengernews.com. Great week. Pick it up. Great tribute to Dr. David Anderson, who we also are dedicating our second week this week. We dedicated the show last week to him. We dedicated to him again this week. Dr. David Anderson on the cover, as well as the much beloved Brother Simba. As Fillmore and Best Street in the city of Buffalo is being renamed to Brother Simba Way. Brother Simba was a great photographer, Challenger Community News. great athlete in his days. Arthur Stevens is his government name, but we know him love as Baba Simba or Brother Simba. That took place on July 31st. Read all about it in this week's Challenger Community News, as we have two legends of the Black community on the cover of Challenger Community News. Pick it up in most businesses in the community. And if you're over in Buffalo on Sunday, the Rick James Funk Fest is on. Man, Heatwave, one of my favorite bands from back in the day. Heatwave is headlining the show. Oh, man, it's going to be great at Martin Luther King Park. D-Mont Unity Band, Levert Experience, D-Train. Oh, D-Train, man, they turned UB out back in 1984. I was there. I ain't talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I know. D-Train was the joint back in the day. They turned University of Buffalo, Summer Fest, Spring Fest, they turned it out. Cyndi Lauper, a woman by the name of legend Cyndi Lauper, who went on to be a big-time star, she opened for D-Train. And Cyndi Lauper got off that day. Everybody that performed that special day got off. So check out D-Train. Will be there tomorrow as well at Martin Luther King Park. Check it out. I ain't talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I know. Heatwave. Oh, man, this day they're gonna jam you. Hey, get there early. Bring your chairs. Check out. Have a good time. Big Daddy's Barbecue. All of them going to be down there. So plenty of food. Have a great time down at the Rick James Annual Buffalo Funk Fest at Martin Luther King Park. Challenger Community News. Check. Absolutely. Boy, we got a loaded guest today. The Fanatic just joined us. Good morning, Fanatic. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Rad, man. What up, Bilal? What up, Internet Passport? Hey, my legend, fantasy football guru, and great maven on the ones and twos. What up, BacSpin? Hey, what's going on, Real Deal Sports Show family, man? It's a beautiful morning. Y'all smell that in the air? Football is back, baby. Football is back. I smell it. High school, college, NFL, man. Listen, man, I looked up. We have Wednesday night football. The NFL, I guess nobody here gonna be surprised. They're gonna be playing 7 days a week in a minute, man. It's gonna be crazy. Hey, let's get it in. Man, it's a beautiful time of the year. Fantasy drafts. We got our draft coming up here in about 7 days. Hey, we get it all the way live, Brad, man. All the way live.
Absolutely. And that question is the NFLPA. What kind of union you got where you got your employees working a dangerous job as being a professional football player and you playing from Wednesday through Sunday? Come on, and Monday. Wednesdays through Monday right now. And they're probably going to find a way to squeeze Tuesday in there pretty soon, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they will. Yep. And Rad, man, you know what's really crazy? The more insight that we get with all these Netflix and Amazon Prime, I love my wife really got me on the quarterbacks and receivers show that's produced by Peyton Manning and Pat Mahomes. And when you really see just the day-to-day, these guys aren't that big, and they're human beings like us, and they got bumps and bruises. And to me, to really see the humanistic side about what they go through on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis just to get back up and play, it's kind of insane to say you got cats playing from Wednesday through Monday just for our enjoyment and for sponsors. It is a little crazy with it, man. It really is.
And on top of that, Fanatic, Bilal, before I get you with your 49ers, they got over 20 injuries in the training camp of the 49ers. Then they're going to have them go all the way across the world to open up a football game, but open up the NFL season, then come back and have to play a week later. Even their coach is injured. I mean, you got injuries all over the place with the 49ers, and you yeah, thank you, man. Oh, man, love it when Internet Passport is with us. Bilal, what can you say about all of those injuries and then having to go all across the world to play a football game against a division rival at that?
My dad used to have a saying. He said, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. And what we're seeing is the NFL, the fact of the matter is you can only ever make so much money, no matter, they're trying to get the sponsorships and the viewers and the ratings with all of these different contracts with, again, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and whatnot. You at what cost and at what point do you say we're not going to risk the players to continue to keep driving a buck up? Because they're, to your point, Radman, my 49ers got 20-something injuries and guys out right now in training camp. How do you expect guys to make it through a 17-week season? And I don't want to hear they've made the preseason 3 games, because The starters don't really play in those. You get a series or something, you're not at the same level of risk. You're not coming out in those games. If there's a snap you can play during the regular season, you're playing that snap unless the game is blown out. So you're putting your guys at risk. And then when you have a poor product on the field, now you're going to be all worried or trying to figure out what they're going, you know what I mean, how we're going to salvage this. What the NFL is going to have to do, they're going to have to go from they're going to have to increase that 53-man roster at some point, because you're not going to have the guys available to keep in rotation if you're going to continue to add games and add days of the week where you got guys playing. Jerome Bettis had an interview back in the day. Go check it out, where he talked about it was Thursday, Friday before he could even walk again after some games.
Absolutely. And you look at, speaking, we move right into Buffalo Bills update.
Wait, Rabbit, just real quick on that. I'm just saying, just real quick. It's just when we talk about San Fran, though, they're old, they're broken down. They've been broken down, Rad, man.
Watch your mouth.
Come on, hey, but I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. We've seen it every year. I don't even understand. And this is the modern medicine piece. George Kittle tore his Achilles, and they talking about he gonna be back maybe week 1. Yo, San Fran, they always hurt and broke up, Brad, man. So to me, it is a little crazy that they got to fly all the way across the world and they pick them. But to me, San Fran, they going over to the South Pacific. They got a big following over there. So to me, I just think San Fran, though, each and every year, they always hurt and broke up. I just want to add that in there. It's not just a one-year thing.
And speaking of older players, the Bills under Sean McDermott, he kept getting the Jordan Phillips going to bring the same guys with over 100,000 miles on them if they were an automobile, with all kinds of problems with the radiator and the whole 9 yards. Jordan Phillips' shoulder he only could give you 3 or 4 games. Now you have Khalil Shakir coming off an ankle surgery, but I noticed they were working him a lot during training. I said, man, they running him a lot of plays. And what happens on Tuesday? Open practice, he has some type of injury or something going on where he's sitting out. He's not even practicing against the Browns in the scrimmage. Dante Pettis, another wide. The Bills always seem to have someone with their wide receivers having injuries and things. So they already down a couple guys as we go into the preseason game against the Cleveland Browns later today, 1:00. Check your local listings if you want to check the game out from Cleveland Huntington Stadium. And then you turn around from Saturday to Thursday, and you play Thursday night back in Buffalo on a grass field that we're going to talk about with the Mighty Oval coming up next, about a surface that they need to resurface that, reseed it. You got to get a better surface, a better grass surface on that, because it was that field looked like they had already played 8 to 10 games on it. But you're starting to see injuries pile up on a lot of teams in the National Football League, and the Bills are definitely their wide receiver base right now is a situation we got to keep an eye on, gentlemen.
But Radman and Real Deal staff, just to circle around the Bills injuries, that's going to happen there through camp. Now they're saying, the grass. The people sprain their ankles on grass, on turf. Now it used to be the angles in the stadium, the screen's too small. Can we hear something good about the Bills, Radman? Can we hear something good about the Bills?
I'm very excited about this team overall. The defense is where I'm very excited about. We finally got young guys out on that defensive unit. So the last 2 years, I was suspect of Sean McDermott, because if you lose a game when you get a lead with 13 seconds, I wrote in the column back then, and I always keep bringing it up, that after that 13-second game, is no way Sean McDermott is going to get you to a Super Bowl. Because if he can't win when his team takes the lead with 13 seconds left and you kicking the ball off to your opponent with 13 seconds left, and somehow you allow that team to tie the game up, take it into overtime, and then beat you, it's how you lose. It's how you lose. So now you got new coaching, new philosophy, and you no more Jordan Phillips. Please, I love Tre'Davious White, but man, he was used and abused in that game against Denver. Dane Jackson, they used and abused him. You know, Sean Payton, as soon as they put those guys in, he took his best receiver and went and said, hey, just throw the ball to this guy, because Tre'Davious White is in there. Dane Jackson, both of them gave up touchdowns, gave up big plays late in that playoff game. You need young guys. Get the young guys in. And you had the nerve to leave Jordan Hancock on the bench, one of his best young players safeties, cornerback. He didn't even put him in the game. Sean McDermott, what were you doing, man? You rather go with Dane Jackson, who announced his retirement from football a few weeks ago? How about Matt Milano? Those guys aren't picked up by other teams. There's a reason why they're not picked. Tre'Davious White. Yeah, they all out on the street because they can't play anymore. They were good football players in their day, but damn, they can't play no more, man. How you getting a guy that can't play no more and putting him out there against world-class athletes in a playoff game? But you got Jordan Hancock sitting on the bench. There's a reason Sean McDermott is gone. And now I'm excited about the Buffalo Bills season. I think their defensive unit can rise to the occasion definitely sometime as this season progresses. It's not going to be right at the beginning, but allow that defense to gel, get together and gel, play together, and they're going from a 3-4, and then they also doing a hybrid 4-3. I like how they switch back and forth between the two schemes. Very smart of Jim Lenhard right now, guys.
Hey, Rabbit,
man, I just couldn't tell, man. You were sounding a little.
You don't find that suspicious?
I heard some good and I heard some bad.
You couldn't help it in that passport.
Sean McDermott is still the devil on your shoulders. Brush the dirt off your shoulders.
He down in Charlotte trying to take his kids to school. And he tried to take his kids to school, and Rabin still shooting stuff at him. Hey, Rabin, real quick, we got to go to our guest, the living legend. But I want to check in with you, Rabin. So who is that integral piece? You always give us the diamonds in the rough. Who is going to be the one that makes plays that you are going to be looking at to say, hey, when this guy balls, the rest of the team, whether it's the energy, whether it's the play, who is that or that particular player for the Bills that we need to look for and see that player produce, or group of players that will help to showcase, say the Bills defense is finally turning the corner?
I think the rookie Bill linebacker, Orlams Orr, number 52, keep an eye on him. He's a hitter. He lays people out. He's not the biggest guy at the middle linebacker position. Keep an eye out on him. And then back in the safety position, Cole Bishop, C.J. Johnson, and behind them, Jalen Kilgore, Jordan Hancock. I like those guys. D. Alford as a corner as well. They finally get. Oh, how could I leave out Teron Johnson? Teron, thank you, Teron. Oh, my God. Thank you for your years of service. But he was too small to cover the tight ends. You're getting bigger guys out on the field. That Jalen Kilgore can cover a tight end. He's big enough to go up against some of these big tight ends in the National Football League. So that the back end is really the key. And we'll see the Ed Olivers, of course, Dwayne Carter, some of those guys up on the front line. We'll see who the down lineman will be. The edge rushers, Bradley Chubb, Russo. We'll see how those edge rushers work out. Javon Solomon. I like Javon Solomon. This type of defense is really set for him. He has speed. He already in that Carolina game, he knocked the guy. You saw he caught that quarterback trying to run and just knocked his helmet right off, hit the helmet right off his head, man. I mean, seriously, this defense is going to be violent. They're going to be finally the type of defense I'm looking for Buffalo, a very violent, hard-hitting defense that's going to make you pay when you catch the ball, not give you an escort into the end zone like they did last year, like they used to do Patrick Mahomes, give him an escort right into the end zone for the winning touchdown. Nah, you're gonna get hit this year. You're going to get hit this year. And Fanatic, introduce our guest.
Hey, man, this guy is a absolute legend, not just in Western New York, not just in Buffalo. It's the one and the only Mighty Oba. My man has been a sports journalist for many, many years, really writing for the Criterion, putting work in for the community, and really a person who has really helped take it to the Buffalo Bills in a respectful way, but helping them think outside the box. One of the foremost and founding fathers of Black journalism in the country, the one, the only. He used to put me on when I was a youngin' coming up, so I always got extra love for him, man. It's great to see him. He looking good, like he done ran 5 miles already, looking good. The one and only, the Mighty Oba. Mighty Oba, welcome to the Real Deal Sports Show.
How you guys doing?
We doing well. We're in the presence of a legend, so you know we're doing well.
You're way too kind. Way too kind. I appreciate the love.
No doubt. We appreciate you. So,
Mighty, how's everything?
Everything is going well. I'll bat lead off here with you. NABJ, you are a national perspective. Obviously, you write for the Criterion. So, hey, we always talk about picking up the Challenger over in Buffalo. Pick up the Criterion. Make sure you pick it up. The Mighty Oba, Pat Freeman, has been writing the articles for years, and they get better and better. He's like wine. They get better and better the more that you are reading it. So with that being said, National Association of Black Journalists calling out Stephen A. Smith in regards to giving him a thumbs down award. They've been doing that for years. Usually it's an entity. But to see the NABJ take a shot at one of our own in this kind of climate with who's in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, just give us your thoughts and what you saw from the organization that you can let me know if you're still a part of it. I think you are, but the National Association of Black Journalists with Stephen A. Smith and the Thumbs Down Award. What were your thoughts?
Well, as you know, I'm a little bit connected with Stephen A. He's a fraternity brother. He's a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. But I disagreed with a lot of the things he was doing from that perspective also. A member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated to criticize black women publicly is a no-no. But remember, too, he also criticized Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who's a member of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, and Joy Reid, who's a member of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. Those actions, I think, were definitely wrong, and he was deserving of the thumbs down. And a lot of people, everybody has their opinion with that, but I think black people in this country, we have to be head and shoulders above everybody just to maintain ourselves. And in an environment like ESPN, I think Stephen A. has kind of lent himself into the hype. And that's the way he's been conducting himself. And, a lot of people can agree or disagree, but Stephen A., on the other hand, is reaping the benefits of what NABJ did. I mean, he's getting maximum attention, and that's his goal, is to stay in front of you. So from that perspective, he's also a winner from that thumbs down. That's a good thing for him. It's not a bad thing, because he's right. He's on Fox. He's on everywhere. But think about it. You go on Fox, one of the most controversial networks towards black people in this country, and that's the first place you go and talk to Sean Hannity? Are you kidding me? Come on. It's all about the attention. And a lot of people need to realize that Stephen A. is making millions off this. And he's the one that's the greatest beneficiary, but I definitely agree with the National Association of Black Journalists censuring him in that manner, because it should have been done. I just don't think that's something that we need to do as journalists. I think if I have a problem with the Rad Man, I call Rad Man on the phone. We talk privately before we go public. When we go public, the Rad Man and I are on the same page. We've done that for a number of years. We've covered a number of Super Bowls, and we don't always agree. But when we're public, we keep it professional. And I think Stephen A. stepped out of that box when he went after, especially Joy Reid, who's a fellow journalist. You just don't do that. And they're members of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. And being a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, that is an absolute no-no. And that's where, if you're not a member of Omega Psi Phi, I can respect your opinion on how you feel. But as a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, we do not do that. Just don't do it. And I think he's deserving of the criticism.
And I have to end up pushing back there, the mighty O, but I have to disagree respectfully. And first, I want to give you your applause and your flowers. You're one of the pioneers in Western New York, Rochester, Buffalo. But I have to disagree, because the first thing that you mentioned, that you said, is that being with Stephen A. being part of the fraternity, is that it sounded like to me, and I want to just make sure I heard you clearly, is that let me ask you this question. Are black women above reproach?
No, they're not.
Okay.
I think there's a way that you have to do it. Because
there's the nature of
the nature of our experience in this country, we have to do things above others. And I think that's just something, especially in this industry. My question to Stephen A, did you try to have a conversation with Joy Reid or Jasmine Crockett prior to you using them as props to gain your own notoriety? And that's been my problem with Stephen A. I like Stephen A. I've met him several times. As you know, he's a good person and he's done good things. But in this instance, I think he's deserving of the criticism. And, he's a very knowledgeable person. You can't take that away from him. But in this instance, I think he was not correct.
And the one point I would like to follow up on as well is that one of the main emphasis that they put on when it comes to Stephen A. Smith was saying that he was disparaging them. And one thing I struggle to find, particularly when it came to Jasmine Crockett, and I'm going to lean into the political edge with that as well, because Stephen A. has been dipping his toe clearly when it comes to the political sphere. But I seen him criticize Jasmine Crockett for things that she has said that's, written there. And it's been recorded, it's on C-SPAN, some pretty interesting statements that she has there as well. And he criticized her about things that she has done and hasn't done politically. And I'm just confused about where's the evidence, where's the video of Stephen A. saying, I don't like this black woman because XYZ. I'm seeing there where he's criticizing people for things that they done on the court, for things that they said or haven't done politically, but I haven't seen him say, hey, I don't like you. Or is the main thing for you simply that, hey, if you do feel that way, just give them like a nice customary call and let them know what you think. But then at the same thing, I would argue with that point is simply this. He's a public figure just like they are. We could talk about them on the show. I don't have Jasmine Crockett's number. I don't have Joy Taylor's number. Am I going to send them an email, or can I simply just say my opinion that maybe a Joy Taylor, I disagree with this one point you may have about this tactic? Does that mean that that person is disparaging them? That's the whole point. What I'm confused about, and the reason why I say it's a political hit piece is, like you said, this whole situation reminded me of that. Actually, going back to journalism, that one news anchor saying to LeBron, yo, just shut up and dribble. Just be quiet. Don't have a comment. As soon as he went into politics, oh man, people started having his opinion. Yes, he was on Fox. He was also on CBS. He was also on NBC. He's going all over. And the thing I'm still waiting to see is this disparaging part. That's the emphasis that the National Association of Black Journalists, and I went through Stephen A's YouTube. I used to watch him daily on ESPN. I just don't see that aspect. I just see that because he's disagreeing with the National Association of Black Journalists that clearly has some Democratic leanings, because he's going against them, they're saying, oh, we have to give another powerful, rich black man. He's not being quiet. He's not closing his mouth. Instead of being critical, just don't say anything. Don't say anything negative. But because he did, that's why I say it's a political hit piece.
Well, we have a situation going on in Western New York. I don't know if you guys know about it, but look at the way the Radman and I have handled it. Sometimes if you don't have anything good to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. You let it play out. I just think Stephen A. used the situation. But the thing about him going on Fox that bothered me the most is when Sean Hannity says Joy Reid and Jasmine Crockett, they say silly things. You let some notorious MAGA supporter say that about black women publicly and you don't respond, that's absolutely unforgivable. And there, me and Stephen A. have a real problem. And his biggest critic in the industry is D.L. Hughley, another member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So that's where I'm standing with Stephen A. I respect him. I love him. I love the work he's done. But I disagree with how you went about this. And there are ways that you have to do things, especially when you're not in control. I've covered the Bills for 32 years. And there's ways that we have to do things with the NFL just to keep, doing what we're doing.
Absolutely. Mighty well stated. We're going to move on to the Buffalo Bills. As a matter of fact, right after we do it, award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call, 585-360-0094. Give her a call, and she'll be glad to give you a nice quote for your business, auto, home, or life insurance. And I know me and Bilal, we got to meet up at Valley of Indians, right, Bilal? Oh, you got to get your turn back in there.
You know that.
Yes, sir. Award-winning, authentic Indian food, voted the best buffet in Monroe County. Experience it in a warm, inviting atmosphere. The lunch buffet is served 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. and dinner is 4:40 to 8:30 p.m. 3259 South Winton Road in the Wint Jeff Plaza. Go check it out. Listen, me and the Fanatic already making plans for when he come up here.
Exactly. Be up here in a couple of weeks. Look like time is getting close, Fanatic. We'll see you in town real soon. Definitely, we'll all meet over there at Valley of India for sure. And now we move into the Buffalo Bills update. What was your impressions, Mighty Oba, of the new stadium, of the Bills themselves, and also the new stadium? And what does that new stadium mean to Western New York?
Well, the stadium is status quo of what you had before. It is not the model that should have been brought to one of the poorest areas of the country. You needed a multi-use facility that would cover the necessary expenses with a modern NFL stadium. And I sent you an article yesterday about the Raiders Stadium, which heavily taxed Nevada. They're looking for more tax money 6 years after it was built. You think you're not going to be facing the same thing in a minute here? And they already hit you with fees. The Pagulas didn't put up any money. That is a fallacy. They didn't put up a dime. You put up everything. Everything related to, on the NFL side, is being charged to the people that attend games and the taxpayers. And you rejected a private investment proposal that all you would have had to do was keep up with the infrastructure improvements. So it's the wrong model. And it's out in the middle of nowhere. So they're going to try to develop Orchard. You've been trying to develop Orchard Park for 53 years.
He ain't lying.
To think that stadium, it's a decent stadium. Don't get me wrong. There are parts of it that have some definite issues that they're going to have to address. But it's a status quo stadium. It's going to be very difficult for Western New York to keep up with the improvements that are necessary to keep you competitive and at the NFL level. And this is a very poor area. So the proposal that was that they rejected was a multi-use year-round facility that would have attracted events year-round. And we did not include PSLs in that proposal. You're paying PSLs, you're paying taxes, fees. You've got a 6% surcharge on everything you use in the stadium. None of that was in the private investment proposal, people. This is what your leadership rejected. And because of that, you got a stadium in a location that's in the middle of nowhere, that's away from the infrastructure of the biggest city the biggest city in this area that does have an infrastructure. That stadium should have been downtown. It should have been on the outer harbor. It should have been connected to the rapid transit. You have no public transportation other than buses going back and forth to that facility. It is an absolute ludicrous model for this area. Is it a nice stadium? Sure it is. Does it have problems? Absolutely. But we have not had a game day yet. So we're going to see when everything is real, how it reacts to traffic and everything else. The traffic out there is absolutely terrible, and it's always been terrible. But to not have a public component bringing people back and forth other than buses is ludicrous. There are no hotels. The nearest hotel is a $5 minute hotel, if you know where I'm talking about, over there near Tim Hortons.
Oh, right.
Not exactly the best place to stay, But this is not a good model, and it's not going to be good for the taxpayer. You're paying now, and everybody's complaining about the surcharges. Me and the Radman were talking about this years ago.
Yeah, we sure were.
This is
wait a second. Wait, Mario, but we have to understand. How do you know about that hotel?
How do you know about
because
your father and I used to do the pregame.
Used to do what?
At Tim Horton, and it's right next to the Minute Hotel. That's the way I know. I'm not a patroner.
Yeah.
Brother, what's that?
And we've done searches of the closest hotels to that facility. They're not close by. Though Hamburg has added some hotels in the recent years because obviously they knew what was coming down the pipe.
And you made a good point. You made a good point. I just want to get a quick point. You made a good point about Kathy Hochul being from the Hamburg area and the county executive being from the Lackawanna area. So really, Mario, it looked like they really took care of themselves more than taking care of the overall Western New York marketplace.
Absolutely. And Mayor Brown was, criticize him as you could with this. It was a part of his original plan because he and I talked about it. Okay. That's how I got so heavily involved. He's the one that introduced me to the people that I was working with. But it was part of his plan. But once you brought in Kathy Hochul, Hamburg, Poland Karch was already there. He's from Lackawanna. So he had a huge constituency attached to the Orchard Park area. And that's why you really ended up with a stadium in the middle of nowhere again.
Hey, Mighty O, can we take it on the field again before Internet Password really getting fired here, man? Oh, my word. I wanted to check in literally on the field. What do you think about the field service? Radman brought it up earlier. We know the Ralph. I don't know if there was any official data, but we saw a lot of major injuries at the old Ralph Wilson, the old Highmark Stadium. Man, it was some gruesome injuries that happened on that hard, cold surface. So to talk about the grass now, I mean, state-of-the-art players want to play on grass. What's the field level like and the grass like? And is it great for players or is it not? Are they going to roll it in? How often? All that.
Well, you got to look at who they brought in to do the grass. They brought in the same group that does the grass field at the old what's the name of Heinz? They change the name of these stadiums every time they get a new sponsor. But Pittsburgh Stadium, that's the same people doing the field in Orchard Park. When they're from Pennsylvania, you getting all this tax money from us, and you've got one of the best places I think in the country that grows turf right outside of Rochester. Was it Batavia turf?
Batavia lawn. We passed it on.
They pay taxes. Why didn't you use them? And that makes no sense to me. This is, once again, the Pagulas using their Pennsylvania connections, but you're getting tax money from Western New Yorkers. I think that you should have used Batavia turf. They're one of the best in the country. But you go out and you patronize a group that is notorious for having bad fields in Pittsburgh. And, they play, the college games there. They play high school games there. They play the pro games there.
A cruise stadium.
Yeah, that field's already tearing apart, so they got to get it right. I mean, they've got a couple of weeks to try to get it right, but that was my biggest disappointment with that. You brought in a crew that has a reputation for having bad football fields, and you had a place right here in Western New York, right outside of Rochester, that does a very good job with turf. So, once again, our leadership and the Bills organization is fumbling. And the biggest problem that I think with the Bills leadership, they're not sponsoring programs like this, or they're not leading their sponsor to programs like this. We don't get any sponsorship, whereas others benefit from their economic relationship with an NFL team. Black media has continued to suffer, and this is not a microcosm. This is going on around the country. Every time we go anywhere, it's the same thing. We don't get the sponsorship. We can't go to the away games and everything else. This is why. Because black media, who has helped you build your product, is not a beneficiary of the product itself. And that's why you don't hear Bills commercials on this show. You don't see the advertisement in the Challenger, the Criterion, or on WUFO or 105.5. This has been a problem all along, and we continue to voice our displeasure. And because of that, I think they try to exclude us from opportunities. And we don't even get to interview for some of these opportunities. Why didn't Radman get an opportunity to be on the pregame, postgame? What did they do? They grabbed some guy off a blog. He used to do the Buffalo Rumblings blog. Now he's a pregame and postgame host. Are you kidding me? I don't even get an interview? I've been out here 32 years. You're telling me I don't have an opportunity to just interview? See, that's the problem. And see, that's why I have a stance with Stephen A. Smith and why we have to approach things differently. We don't get the same opportunities, bruh. You don't get the same opportunities. If I got a problem with you and you look like me, I'm going to first try to deal with it in a certain manner. And if that doesn't work, then you go whatever route you want to. But we don't get the same opportunities. And that field, it's just a microcosm of what this organization has done. They said they had over 35% minority vendor participation in the building of that stadium. That is a lie. Show me where they are. And if you did have that type of percentile, you brought them in from other parts of the country. They are not from Western New York. They're not from Rochester. They're not from Buffalo. And they weren't from Niagara Falls. And see, this is the con game that goes on in the NFL that needs to be talked about. And that's how you have to continuously petition these people to do the right thing. You're taking my tax money. What is my benefit from your organization receiving this? And black
Good job, my brother. We rocking with you.
Continuously left out.
Absolutely, especially BacSpin come on in, but Mario, quickly, they put a notice to bid on the post game show and pregame show, and they gave it to Matty Glab. Matty Glab. They didn't even give it. They didn't even post it so that we could apply for it.
Well, it was. That's a part that's interesting. It was posted on Indeed. And I started filling out the application just to see, if they would give me an opportunity. I was out, with my mom, and when I got home, the application was gone. And the next day they announced they were bringing the blogger in from the Buffalo Rumblings and Mitch Morse. And that's when I called you. I said, I didn't even get a chance to finish filling out the application before they had designated it to somebody. So we don't even get the same consideration or opportunities that others get. And I think that's why we have to conduct ourselves in a different way.
Absolutely. BacSpin. It's that time of the morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate
great
y'all, man. Y'all had a hell of a show today.
Yeah.
Mighty O was good to hear you back on
man.
Airways, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Y'all, once again.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to be with you guys.
Always.
Always great to have you, Mario.
My brothers, no doubt. We're running up against it, fellas, but I just want to wish y'all a great weekend. And y'all enjoy this sunshine.
Will do.
All right.
Keep it where you need it, Rock City, New York. Back time, make sure it was on the way. Shout out to the Real Deal Sports Show. Y'all know what it is. It's the beat.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Right back with the class.
That's right. Like and subscribe.